of 7 events, and they've all been very wonderful. And I'm certainly honored and privileged to be here with such an esteemed and outstanding team. And I am very much looking forward to Professor Duvall's talk on neuromarketing. I want to learn something here as well, just like you all. So thank you all for joining. And I won't take up much of your time. I know you're here to listen to Professor Mehta. I do want to welcome you all on behalf of Binghamton University and the Thomas J. Watson College of Engineering and Applied Science. I'll just share with you briefly, I'll just take a few minutes to share with you, what our Watson College is all about. I mean, Navrachna University, we are a world-class institution. We're dedicated to providing a quality engineering and applied science education. And we have a very, very strong international perspective, which I am truly grateful for, because it's that perspective that has connected BU and NUV, and it gave rise to these events and other events in the future. So we're very proud of our rankings here at Binghamton University. Not only are we the #1 college in our state, the state of New York, with several million people, we're the #1, we're the best public university in the entire Northeast of the United States. So that's at least a half a dozen states in the Northeast, and about a quarter of our country in terms of population. So we're very proud of our rankings. We're considered a very good value by Money Magazine, by finance magazines like Kiplinger Report. Students really get a great return on investment here because we have a very high quality education. We're subsidized by the state of New York, and we're part of the SUNY system. So that helps us keeps our costs down, which provides a good value to our students. And our students do great when they graduate. We love getting the outstanding students from universities like yours. And then we just stand on the shoulders of you and add on to that with our graduate programs and masters and PhD. And I'll share what some of those programs look like in just a moment. You can see the Watson College has about 3,000 students. About 1,000 of those are graduate students. And we are growing. We continue to grow. We'll probably get to 4,000 or 5,000 in the next, 5 years or so, but that's about as big as we want to get. And we'll continue to grow our faculty as well. So we have a very, very favorable faculty to student ratio. So we're able to give students the attention they need so they get the best learning experience they can possibly have. So we're very proud of that. These are the engineering programs I mentioned. Of course, we have computer science from an applied science standpoint. But we have biomedical engineering, we have electrical and computer engineering, material science and engineering, mechanical, system science and industrial engineering, which has a variety of programs underneath it, including healthcare systems, system science, as well as traditional industrial and systems engineering. So we're quite proud of these programs, as well as certificate programs that we have in cybersecurity, complex systems. And we have a transdisciplinary degree between Watson and our School of Management and our math department in data analytics, which, as I'm sure you all know, is an up and coming skill area. I have a lot of research groups here. These are maybe a dozen or so of the various centers we have. And our students really like the fact, that they actually do research on state-of-the-art problems using state-of-the-art lab equipment. So we're very proud of our facilities, and our students appreciate that as well. So centers from, advanced electronics, nanomaterials, solar energy, and the list goes on and on. We do have funding opportunities for our students as well, right? We understand that, higher education is a financial commitment. So we try to help our students with that by way of on-campus jobs. We have literally thousands of jobs on campus, and within the Watson College, we have hundreds of jobs that you see listed here in the way of graduate and teaching assistantships, research project assistants, where we're aligning students with industry internship projects, which is great for everyone. Great for industry because they get fresh young talent. Great for our students because they get real world experience and can apply the skills that they're learning on campus. And these are some of the employers that we have that relationship with. So you can see many multinational companies here. My former company, IBM, is listed here. I worked there for 20 years before coming to BU, and other big name companies as well, as you can see, General Electric, Lockheed Martin, et cetera, et cetera. And I mentioned, being a great value, right? Here's Hiren, one of our graduates from our computer science program. He's now the director of product management at Qualcomm Technologies. It's a big name company. He's doing quite well, like really our graduates. I keep in contact with a lot of our alumni, 10, 15 years after graduation. I'm talking to directors, I'm talking to vice presidents, I'm talking to CEOs of their own company. So very exciting to see how well our students do. And as I say, we stand on the shoulders of universities like yours, and we just build on, the foundation that you've laid for us. So we're very proud of that. We're very proud of the fact that we're diverse. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is one of our core values. So we have, not only students from across 50 countries, but our faculty from nearly as many countries as well, right? We want our campus, we want our faculty to look like the rest of the world in terms of diversity. And then finally, I'll just wrap up with another notable that we're very proud of. Professor Stan Whittingham, end of 2019, won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. So we're very proud of him. We're very excited to be associated with him here at the Watson College. And his contribution, he was the joint inventor of the lithium-ion battery. So that battery that you're charging your laptop and your cell phone and other devices, credit to Dr. Whittingham and his team for that invention. So very exciting, recently recognized for that. We're glad to have him as part of our team. Okay, so finally, let's move into the program. Delighted to have this collaboration between BU and NU. And I want to acknowledge all the organizers that have helped with that. Certainly the Provost Nile, Professor Amarish. Provost was kind enough to acknowledge myself and Dean Srihari. We're very proud of this collaboration. And of course, there's Professor Kriti, Professor Dinesh, Waibov, who've been supporting this as well. And this would not be possible if it was not for the outstanding team at Navratna. So I'm appreciative of that. In terms of the program, as I mentioned, this is the 5th of 7 events. So I am looking forward to hearing Professor Duvall talk about neuromarketing. And you could see Professor Amarish, I think we'll talk about the future events as we close. But just some headlights, we've got an event coming up the end of this month and another one in July. So we've still got some runway left. So excited for those talks too. Please join us for those. So without further ado, again, welcome. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for this collaboration. Thank you so much for attending. And without further ado, I will stop sharing and turn it back to Professor Kriti. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor Testani, for sharing this information with us today. So guys, today is the 5th webinar of this NUV-BU collaboration webinar series. The webinar is titled Introduction to Neuromarketing, presented by Professor Dhaval Mehta. Professor Dhaval Mehta joined the Navratna University as an assistant professor in 2010. He earned an MSc degree in 2005 in the field of computer applications and information technology. In 2010, he received an MPhil degree in the field of computer science. Currently, he is a program chair of BCA at Navratna University and pursuing a PhD in the field of neuromarketing and artificial intelligence from Navratna University. He is a certified neuromarketer and having 15 years of experience in the field of teaching and software development. And his research areas are artificial intelligence and consumer behavior. Basically, neuromarketing refers to the measurement of psychological and neural activities to get insights into customers' motivations, preferences, and decisions about the products, promotion, etc., which can help inform creative advertising, product development, pricing, and other marketing areas. With this information, companies can understand why consumers make the decision they do and what parts of the neural activities or other parameters are motivating them to do so. So this talk aims at what are the different neuromarketing techniques used in the field of advertisement along with pros and cons. So now, without any delay, I would like to invite Professor Dhaval Mehta to take us on the journey of neuromarketing.
Thank you, Kriti ma'am. Hello, everyone. Good evening and good morning to Binghamton. Today, I'm going to talk about the introduction to neuromarketing. So I'm going to share my screen. Is my screen visible? Can please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Continue.
These are the contents which I'm going to cover in my today's presentation, that is about neuromarketing, consumer neuroscience, and human brain. Why neuromarketing? About various techniques which are used in neuromarketing field, comparisons between the different techniques, ethics in neuromarketing, and what are the current trends. Here I have focused on the IT and computer field and how they are becoming current trends in the field of neuromarketing that I'm going to cover. First one is about neuromarketing. So before I come to the neuromarketing terminology, we have to understand what is neuroscience, what is consumer neuroscience, and what is neuromarketing. So let me start with the human mind. Human mind is very fascinating thing. From ancient timing, the earlier civilization had very basic knowledge about the human brain. Their beliefs about the inner working of the mind was also very limited due to the lacking of the technologies at that time. Later on, many people have tried to understand the inner working of the brain, and some scientists, some researchers could succeed in it. Later on, this branch is emerged as neuroscience. So I can say that neuroscience is the study of nervous system that seeks to understand the biological basis of behavior. This range of insights is too broad for the study of consumer psychology, which I'm going to clarify later on what and which areas are human brain. These are more relevant to the consumer neuroscience. So when I told about the inner working of the mind, that refers to the consumer, so that refers to the neuroscience. And when we try to study the consumer science field, so 1 minute, yeah. So consumer psychology, by considering the neuroscience theories, it can be referred to the consumer neurosciences. The birth of the field, consumer neuroscience has caused wide ranging and debatable matter of whether this interdisciplinary field, which applies both the field, that is consumer psychology and neuroscience, and within them, what forms this beneath. The main goal of consumer neuroscience is to adapt methods and theories of neuroscience field and combining with them with the behavioral theories, models, and experiments designed from consumer psychology, which are related disciplines such as behavior decision sciences, and to develop a neurophysiological theories to understand consumer behavior. And when this consumer neuroscience theory are applied in the field of business, especially marketing, advertising, or promotions, can be referred as neuromarketing. The main goal of this field to understand the consumer's mental processing, which are occurring at the subconscious level, and also to focus how the decision making is happening. Many researchers have tried to understand how individuals make or should make a decision. Decades of study have shown that much of our mental processes occurs at the subconscious level, including the decision what we take as a consumer. These subconscious activities explain why we not succeed for predicting our own future choice perfectly. Neuromarketing techniques have the answers about it. Professor Al Smith of Rotterdam School of Management of the Erasmus University is known as the first one who used the term neuromarketing, which refers to the use of neuroscientific techniques by the marketing discipline, and this was happened in 2002. Neuromarketing can be defined as the field of study that applied the methodology of neuroscience to analyze and understand the human behavior related market and economic exchanges. Neuromarketing techniques are generally used in the field of communication as well as in the advertising. The use of these technologies make possible to find advertising elements which affect positive, which affects positive feelings, and which are the features that should not be present in communication, as they may cause consumer turn away from the products. And how does a consumer deals with different product alternatives based on personal perceived belief, benefits, and cost. So it can be said that neuromarketing and consumer neuroscience are new academic and commercial disciplines by focusing on coming neuromarketing trend and experiencing the use of neuroscience tools in the consumer insights and marketing. We can differentiate between neuromarketing, which is a commercial use of neuroscience tools to improve consumer insights and marketing effects, and consumer neuroscience, which is more an academic exercise where the aim is to use the neuroscience to better understand consumer psychology as well as behavior. Next is about consumer neuroscience and human brain. So this is the human brain, and it was depicted with different colors just to provide you the information about different parts. Really, human brain is not like this; it's somewhat different. But here, for pictorial representation, I have selected this image. These parts are again made of some subparts which play an important role in the perception and intelligence of an individual. But in consumer neuroscience and neuromarketing, we just study or conduct experiments by focusing on these parts. Next one is about one model which was proposed by Professor Ramsey, then Milojovic and Plasman, which was focusing on how a consumer, right, when he or she chooses a particular brand, so how he or she adapt it. So generally, there are various stages which are involved. First one is about representation and attention. That is identification of choice set and salience feature of options. Second one is about the predicted value. Here, prediction by the consumer of how much he or she will enjoy a brand. Third one is about experience value, enjoyment of the brand during its consumption. Fourth one is about the remembered value. Now here we can it can be bifurcated. That is memory of brand liking, how liking of a brand is encoded, consolidated, and retrieved. And second one is about updating of brand association. This one is the human mind, and these are the different parts where this type of impressions or these type of perceptions are created, they are stored. So here I have shown it in the lateral view as well as in medial view. These are some terminologies which are given here, like ACC, that is stands for, this one is ACC, stands for anterior cingulate cortex. DLPFC, that is dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. IOFC, that LOFC, that is lateral orbitofrontal cortex. A MOFC, that is medial orbital frontal cortex. NACC, that is nuclear accumbens. VMFC, that is ventromedial prefrontal cortex, and VS, that is ventral stereo. And here these are the different values which we discuss here, right? So how they are stored in the different part. So this model was proposed by Ramsey and team, and they have shown that if particular brand, any experience, any consumer have purchased it, so how these values can be stored into the different part of the mind. Next one is about the why neuromarketing. So how neuromarketing come into the picture. So first we make comparison with the traditional marketing. So that is, there are various claims made for that. Neuroscience can reveal important hidden information of decision making of consumer, and approximately 95% decision making process is always hidden. Secondly, it's more efficient and cost benefit trade-off, we can say that, in compare with other marketing strategies. It can also answer the following questions: how desirable is your product? What emotion is triggered by your promotion? Which ad is most effective? what price causes the consumer paid, and how do consumers feel at your point of sale. So here these are the different answers which can be there are different questions which can be answered by the neuromarketing techniques. If we compare this neuromarketing with the digital marketing, so generally digital marketing focuses on the number of clicks or number of visits. But when we talk about the neuromarketing, so neuromarketing can give the actual pictures of this one. There are different advantages of neuromarketing, that is filling the gaps. So there are, if you as a company, if your budget is there, you are spending that budget on the promotions, on advertisement, right? So at that time, whatever you have spent, if they have been recovered or that it can be somehow, so your marketing strategy is good one. But again, whether those marketing strategies successfully implement, that was the biggest question. So these type of gaps can be filled with the help of neuromarketing. Second one is about establishing physiological reaction to the content. Suppose one item is presented or one product is presented in the front of one consumer or in the group of consumers. So at that time, what will be the physiological reaction? Why this was liked by particular person? So that can be answered with the help of neuromarketing. Third one is about improved trustworthiness of results, because when we take, when we conduct survey or when we conduct questionnaire, so at that time, whatever the results which are submitted by the various people, right, it may happen that they may be dominated or manipulated. But if we conduct these neuromarketing experiments on the volunteers or the group of consumers, that gives 100% surety that these results were generated by this one. And last one is value for money. Value for money means, although there are some techniques which are very much costlier in compare with our traditional marketing strategy, but when your budget is in the terms of millions, right? So at that time, this will you would return definitely. Next one is about neuromarketing techniques. So we can categorize different techniques into two parts. First one is which involves brain activity, and second part that is other than these techniques, means it involves different part of our bodies. So that we'll discuss later on. First we will see about involves brain activity. So neuromarketing technique based on brain activities are electroencephalography, gentoencephalography, transcranial magnetic stimulation EEG, functional magnetic resonance imaging, and positron emission tomography. Other marketing techniques involves galvanic skin response, facial expression coding, eye tracking, monitoring, heartbeats, indoor positioning techniques. First, let's start with the magnetoencephalography. Magnetoencephalography is a functional neuroimaging technique for mapping brain activity by recording magnetic fields produced by neural activities occurring in the brain. Very sensitive magnetometers are used. At the cellular level of brain, individual neurons in the brain have electrochemical properties, and because of this, the flow of electrically charged ions through a cell. This causes electromagnetic because of the effect of this slow ionic current flow. While the magnitude of individual neuron is negligible, the effect of multiple neurons, for example, simultaneously 50,000 or 1 lakh neurons excited together in a specific area, which can generate a measurable magnetic field, and this magnetic field can be sensed with the help of this magnetoencephalography. MEG provides us the temporal characteristics about brain activation and timing with sub-millisecond precision. Array of SQUID, that is superconducting quantum interface devices, are used nowadays, and this device is not portable, hence we require special lab setup if we want to conduct experiment through this technique. Next one is about electroencephalography. In electroencephalography, generally the electrical activity of the brain is measured. This one is somewhat low cost and non-invasive method. Our brain cells communicate via electrical impulses and are active all the time, even when we sleep. This activity shows us waveline on the EEG recording. We can measure effective valence, probability of memorization, the degree of attention and engagement. Valence refers to the stimulus which is perceived as either positive or negative manner. The probability of memorization means how we can memorize those things. The degree of attention, how much we have kept attention on the particular thing, and the engagement, that is the personal level relevance. Next one is about transcranial magnetic stimulation with EEG. So this one is same as the earlier I talked about the EEG. So this technique is able to stimulate changes in cortical excitability and plasticity by applying weak currents to the brain, and nowadays used to operate a vast array of cognitive processing. It enables to evaluate TMS evoked components which may act as an indicator for cortical excitation and inhibition. It also allows us to measure oscillation before and after or during a single session of brain stimulation. Capability to remove suppresses large artifacts, and thus way it makes possible to study language areas of TMS using TMS EEG. This is the device, and here current, small level current is applied on it. Next one is about the functional magnetic resonance, that is fMRI. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, sometimes also known as functional MRI or sometimes also known as fMRI, measures brain activity by identifying changes associated with the blood flow. This technique is used on the fact that cerebral blood flow and neuronal activation are connected to each other. When area of the brain is in use, blood flow to that region also increases. MRI has become a standard tool because it provides high resolution images with good contrast between different tissues and helpful to researchers to know which areas of brain is activated after getting exposure to particular product or item. Here, this is the device. This is the device of Siemens company. Generally, it captures the images by magnetical resonance imaging, and it generates the report in somewhat way. So here there was experiment conducted for blend testing and Coca-Cola. So what type of images are generated that you can see in this slide. Next one is about positron emission topography. This one is the robust imaging technique which enables in vivo examination of brain functions. It allows to quantify of cerebral blood flow, metabolism and receptor binding. In this one, radioactive substances known as radio tracers are used to visualize and measure changes in metabolic process. This one is the most accurate one than the fMRI, but there is only one limitation in that. It uses radioactive substance. So you cannot apply this type of technique while conducting the experiment to the old age people or the pregnant women, etc. You require only the healthy people, right? And if we conduct this experiment on one consumer over time, so it may cause some health issues. Next one is about facial encoding. Facial expressions analysis, or sometimes also known as facial action coding system, was originally developed by Carl Hedman in the late 60s and early 70s and initiated by Paul Ekman and Wallace in 70s. These facial expressions are analyzed mainly through the changes in specific categories of facial muscles to determine an individual's emotion response toward the situation. This is so useful and accurate because they are easily visible to others, occur spontaneously, and are very much hard to control. No one can control it. If you suddenly, if you heard any joke or you read any article, right? And so maybe you immediately laugh, no need, it happen. So if you watch or listen something, you like it, the happiness or smile will come on the face, and contrary, if you do not like, so it may cause disgust feeling and that may appear on your face. It has been believed that people can make up to 10,000 facial movements which reveal 7 basic emotions, that is happiness, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, contempt and surprise. This thing was implemented by many local shopkeepers, especially dealing in clothing or fashion industries. They do not use any type of device, but they observe you when you making purchase, and thus way they will show you the product which you like. Today in the digital era, interdisciplinary face reading technologies open the opportunity to uncover hidden consumer reaction in new way. Many software companies have provided the solution or API to identify such reactions. Such tracking enables to establish the link between attention to the advertisement and purchase decisions by identifying the elements which interrupt the development of desired field of an advertisement, and therefore allows to measure the effectiveness of advertising with high accuracy. I am going to show one video here. Really, it isn't in, yes, I have disabled the sound, so it may not available to you maybe. So here you can see that particular person is moving, and here the web cameras are mounted. So they are taking the picture of this one, and simultaneously it generates the output. Here it also determines different emotions, whether how much percentage confused, how much percentage sad, etc. Here it has a capability to identify more than one faces at a time. So this type of technique can be used for your system, by which you can get the idea. Next one is about galvanic skin response. Galvanic skin response, also known as GSR, which falls under the umbrella term of electrodermal activity or EDA. It generally measures the changes in sweat gland activity that are reflection of the intensity of our emotional state. This is also known as emotional arousal. Something is disgusting or scary or threatening or joyful or otherwise emotionally relevant, then the subsequent change causes in emotional response that we experience, and that increase the sweat gland activity. Please note that both positive and negative stimuli can result in an increase in arousal. Here positive means if you are happy or joyful, and negative may be referred to the threatening or saddening, and in increase in skin conductance. The GSR signal is therefore actual representation of emotion but shows the intensity of it. A GSR measurement work is done by detecting the changes in electrical activity resulting from the changes in sweat gland activity. The electrode must be sensitive to these changes and able to communicate that information to the recording device. Here I have also embedded one video, so you will get the idea. So here this is the device which measures the galvanic skin responses. This is the video which is made by Neuro company. So here, that lady is laughing, and simultaneously those type of gets changed, and those activities are measured by this device. If you move in it, it also shows you the path how you have visited. Yeah. So this is about galvanic skin response. Next one is about monitoring heartbeats. This is becoming more and more popular with the availability of health monitoring devices at cheaper rate. Today, you know that even digital watch contains this type of devices which can measure your heartbeat. Okay, although the accuracy is not so much, but yeah, they measure at some level. Most of these units have built-in microprocessor that analyze the recorded signal to determine the heart rate and the frequency of cardiac cycle. There are two terminologies involved, that is RR interval. RR interval can be defined as the interval between two heartbeats, which indicates the completion of cardiac cycle. This metric is actually used to measure the heart rate, which in turn can reflect the action of the CNS. Heart rate variability, that is the another terminology, HRV, reflects the variation in the time interval between heartbeats, or how regular is the interval between beats. HRV is highly related to emotional arousal, and this is the main parameter which can be studied by applying the method of neuromarketing. This technique can be used as alone or can be applied with facial expression encoding or with EEG. In this methodology, generally the HRV value, that is heart rate variability, that are measured in the seconds, and after measuring it, mean values can be calculated, and according to these mean values, that we can know that what type of condition, what type of changes in the HRV. In this methodology, generally the HRV values are measured in seconds, and in this image you can see that condition 1A and condition B. So in condition A, you can see that it was the normal one, but in condition 2, because of the changes, it shows in the ugly one. Next one is about eye tracking. Eye tracking is also another popular method of neuromarketing. Before start it, I have to go into the history of the eye tracking. So in 1950, a Russian scientist, Alfred Yarbus, was able to capture the movement of the eye by attaching mirror system to the eyeball. Here, there are some terminologies, that is the fixation. Fixation means looking at the object for a stipulated amount of time. Generally, that can be in several milliseconds, and the movement of your eyeball from one point to the next, which is called a saccade. If we apply on our product, so we can measure the heat map. So heat map is another terminology. Heat map show how looking is distributed over the stimulus. It's a visualization that can effectively reveal the focus of visual attention. Here it is the advertisement. It is a advertisement of perfume, and here you can see that when the experiment was conducted, how consumer was looking at which one. So this can be useful later on to analyze the advertisement efficiency. Second one is about gaze plot. Gaze plot shows the location and sequence and the time spent looking at location on the stimulus. Time spent looking most commonly expressed as fixation duration, and generally it can be shown by the diameter of the fixation circles. The longer the look, the larger the fixation point. So here you can see that there is one promotion of one eatable. So how those gaze plots were created? So first, when the consumer look at this point, then that focus was moving towards this one, then this one. Here this one is larger one, so we can say that here that consumer focused more time. So that's why you can know how you can come to know that how your advertisement was looked by that particular consumer. There are different types of eye tracker available. That first one is fixed. So this type of eye trackers are generally mounted above or under that screen, and they have some infrared or some other mechanism so that they can capture your eye movement, and accordingly it will show that where you look at, where how much time you focused at certain points. And this one is the movable eye tracker. Here that one is in the form of glass, so you have to wear this particular eye tracker. that eye tracker has one device attached to it, and when you look, when your eye will be moved from one point to another point, that type of movement can be measured with it. Now there are many advantages of eye tracking. That is, first one is flexibility and ease of use, because the reason is that here what this is, whenever any consumer was using this when you use this method for particular consumer, right, so he or she has to just look on the advertisement, right, that eye tracker will measure the movement of the eye and etc. So that is because of it. Second one is it also capture the real-time data. As I told you that right now consumer is sitting in the front of that particular website, and here you can see that those type of data are measured, right? And here again the precision and accuracy is much more. So eyes can, that movement of the eyes can be measured in effective way. Next one is about indoor positioning techniques. Indoor positioning techniques generally that is the different than the other neuromarketing techniques what I discussed so far. In these studies, the volunteer has the freedom to move from one place to another, such as in a store or supermarket, but again confined within some designated area. This technique registers the location of the volunteer to provide sense to the matrice is recorded and identified what causes a reaction. Generally, there are two types of devices which can be used for this type of technique. First one is indoor GPS based devices, right? And second one is using cameras. So first is about the indoor GPS based devices. Here, these special type of devices are mounted on the walls, which are also known as the beacons. These devices are capable of detecting the Bluetooth of mobile phones of the volunteers or the consumers. The range of this device is very much limited because of the Bluetooth range. So these devices are generally used to observe the presence of the people, and when any new announcement, if you want to make it, so you can easily transmit your message with the help of this technique. Second is about using camera. So in generally the stores, for security reasons, the cameras are used, and many stores use the past recording to analyze the areas which are most visited by the customers. Here in this case, computer vision based algorithms can be used to identify the areas, and then different analysis and algorithms can be applied to identify the reasons for this type of movement. This is the comparative analysis. So these are the different techniques with the comparisons. So I have made comparisons by using 4 parameters, that is lab setup, then portability, hardware cost, and popularity. And the range of the popularity is in between from 0 to 5. So here it can be easily seen that some of the techniques are very much costlier, right? Like my electroencephalography or the fMRI or the PET scan, these are the very much costlier techniques, but there are some low cost methods available like facial expression coding or eye tracking or monitor heartbeats. So according to your requirement, according to your experiment, you can choose particular method. Next one is about the ethics in neuromarketing. Ethics are always important in any field. When we talk about the data, and especially this personal data, at that time, some ethical practices should be followed by the professionals. Again, this is applicable to the neuromarketing field because here a neuromarketer is dealing directly with the personal level data. Neuromarketing provides a theoretical framework to understand decision-making process of an individual and trying to prove that we are not as 100% rational as we like to think. But on the other hand, it's a duty of neuromarketer or company to hide the personal information of a person, like name, address, city name, etc. So that is very much important. Second one is about emotions. Yeah, here generally we are dealing with the emotions also. So that can be misused. So again, the secrecy should be maintained for the data. And third one is that this data cannot be used by any political agency because they may dominate to the people. So this type of ethical practices should be followed while practicing neuromarketing. Next one is about latest trends. Latest trends, here I have taken the computer and IT field. So what type of trends are right now followed in the field of neuromarketing? So latest advancement in the field of IT and computer science has elevated neuromarketing field. These are the popular fields like IoT, sensors, superior network technologies, cloud computing, artificial intelligence techniques, machine learning, deep learning algorithm, and different techniques, that is segmentation, clustering, visualization, support for better decision making. So because of the availability of sensors and popularity of the Internet of Things field, the devices can communicate with each other in smoother way. Because earlier interconnection was a great challenge for a neuromarketer, because neuromarketer are generally dealing with multiple devices on multiple techniques. At that time the interconnection is required, although it was, but due to this Internet of Things, this thing become very much easier. Even different type of sensors are available at cheaper way, so they can be used in your mobile device or in your digital watch, etc., smartwatch, etc. So those can be used for performing this type of experiment. Nowadays wireless devices are very much popular because of the portability. So we can say that like EEG, so EEG, portable EEGs are also available. We can move from one place to another. Next one is about the cloud computing. Cloud computing field also played an important role because it provides the facility to store large amount of data, and any device which is connected to the cloud can access this data by making proper authentication. Can even cloud computing provides facility to upload large amount of data and make it available for different softwares. So because of cloud computing, this field is now elevating. Next one is about computer vision algorithms. Computer vision algorithms, even the best option, generally these type of algorithms are used to identify face, to identify the eyes and the movement of the eye, etc. So these algorithms can be easily integrated in your software, in your system. Even when we talk about the large amount of data, we require internet speed. So 4G is nowadays common, and in India especially, some companies are working on the 5G network for providing high-speed internet. If I talk about the artificial intelligence techniques, so there are various techniques of these are very much popular for analyzing the data. Earlier in neuromarketing, statistical and mathematical methods were used for integrating and analyzing the neuromarketing data. But due to the popularity of artificial intelligence field and the different methods of artificial intelligence like machine learning, deep learning, become very much easy to segment or to make cluster or to visualize large amount of data, and thus way decision making become very fast. So here I'm going to conclude my session. If you have any question or query, now session can be open for that one.
Thank you, Professor Dhaval, for sharing your valuable opinions, findings, and knowledge with us today. So now session is open for question and answer. So guys, if you have any questions, kindly raise your hand.
Professor Krithi, may I ask a question of Professor
Yes, sir,
Dhaval?
sure. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. This is fascinating, Professor. Thank you so much for sharing this. I'm curious how well the facial facial expressions that you showed the video on, how well does that correlate to like an MEG or an EEG? I'm sure those studies have been done. I'm curious how accurate they are, thinking that the EEG, MEG would be the most accurate, right? Kind of our reference. Could you comment on that, please?
Yes, sir. Really, these are the various techniques. If you want more accuracy, then what we can do, we can combine more than one techniques in one experiment. So thus way we can maintain the accuracy of the experiment. Because sometimes it may happen that if we, for example, if we apply only the facial expression coding, so it may happen that the consumer, so they may knowingly or unknowingly create different expressions. So at that time, it may lead to the wrong results. But yeah, at the same time, if we have used it other techniques, so that may yield an actual result of our experiment.
Thank you so much. Very fascinating work.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing it.
One question, Professor Dhaval. Am I
Yes,
audible?
sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. Dhaval sir, can you please stop sharing your screen?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Amrish, sir.
So, Dhaval sir, is it legal, this neuromarketing?
So really, that is the big controversy going on, whether it is ethical or not. But yeah, if the volunteer or the consumer is ready, then it is not any problem. Here we do not require special type of permission from the government. If the consumer is ready or the person is ready, then we conduct this type of experiment.
No, but without consent?
Without consent, it's not possible. Later on, according to the law, according to the policies, even we may face that legality issues. But yes, if the volunteer is ready, then we can perform. Because in our India, if we want to go for this type of techniques, especially for criminal prosecutions, at that time we require special permission from the government, at least from district magistrate level. But here, if you want to conduct for consumer neuromarketing purposes, then we do not require it.
And is there any data like how many percentage of company right now using this kind of marketing technique?
Yes, sir. There are many companies, especially in Europe and USA, they are using this one. For India, this is a very new field, and but it is gaining the popularity. If I give you the example of the companies, so iMotions is there. It is a pioneer in this field. We can consider it. Apart from that, Topography is there. That is a Singapore-based company, and its offices are available worldwide. So they are dealing in this type of experiments, and they can give you some authenticate results of their experiments, and thus way you can redefine your strategies. Marketing strategies.
Thank you.
In fact, even if I may add, Dhaval, may I add something?
Yes, sir.
Apart from retail, there are some very interesting examples. For example, I know of a company called Fidelity Investments. It's one of the world's largest investment firms. And Fidelity Investments, one of the world's largest investment firms. And they've been using it for quite some time, where they call volunteers to a room, and what they do is they just watch how they're browsing the website of Fidelity. So when they're doing it, every single expression is captured. Like if he clicks on an icon, or if he finds it very difficult to navigate, it shows in his facial expression. If he's very happy with a certain visual, shows in his expression. That is captured, analyzed, and then the website is designed accordingly. So even for website design, that's what people do, right? So I just thought I'll add something.
Thank you, sir.
I think there are some questions from the audience also.
Yes, sir.
Some people.
So guys, if you have any question, kindly raise your hand so we can unmute you to ask your question. So in a meanwhile, Dhaval sir, I received some questions from the participant side. So
Yes,
may I ask to you?
Yes, ma'am, you please.
Sir, so participants asked that which research methodology and theoretical framework should be used to conduct this research?
All right. Madam, here our main goal is to collect the data by applying the various techniques. Then again, it depends upon the experiment and again the model that you are going to use. So it depends upon you only, which type of research methodology or which type of statistical or AI based method you can use for analyzing this data. So again, from experiment to experiment, it may vary. Our neuromarketing techniques, whatever I have discussed, that is basically for acquiring the data from the consumer. That is the thing. Now, let me give you one example that some things are, followed, although this type of techniques were not formalized, as I told you that local shopkeepers. So if the local shopkeeper is, dealing in the fashion or, clothing industry, and if you go there to purchase your shirt or, that jeans, so what he or she will do, she will analyze you. And according to your liking, disliking, they will give you the options. And definitely, if that person is capable enough, so they can convince you, you will buy that particular shirt or jeans from that shop. So this type of techniques is already used here. Our main goal is to study at larger level how decision making is happening.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have another question.
Dr. Reena Prasad is there. She wants
Yeah.
to ask something. Can you unmute her?
My question is that whether the concept of neuromarketing can be used in banking sector for promoting banking products.
Yes, ma'am. It can be used in many fields for promotions and for advertising purposes. As Sir told that even this experiment can be conducted for analyzing your visuals also. Whatever visuals or whatever advertisement you have created, you can promote it. But again, what I told earlier that consumer or the customer should be ready for this type of experiment. If he or she is ready, then you can conduct. You can show them different advertisement, your products of the banking sector, and can measure the reactions that how he or she is responding. And thus way you can determine the interest of a particular person.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Rohan, you can ask your question.
Sir, I have a doubt that if this neuromarketing is taken in future, nearby future, so will it help in buying the cryptocurrency or help us to attract more and more customers in the stocks?
That depends upon your promotions, how you are advertising. If your advertisement is enough to capture the people, the attention of the people, then definitely it may be helpful to you to promote yourselves. So it depends again upon your advertisement. And here what we are doing, our main goal is to improve the efficacy of this type of advertisement or this type of promotions what we have launched.
Thank you, sir. So I received another question from the participant side, and someone asked that what are the tools to build GUI to display EEG processing results?
Really, EEG processing, EEG is a
Yes,
device
yes,
which
sir.
sends the data to that particular what we can say that model what we have used it. So the data are captured by the EEG. Now this data may be in the form of digital or in the form of pulses. So proper libraries are required to convert this data into the readable format. Once this data are available in the readable format, then we can visualize this data with the help of graphical user interfaces for decision making purposes, because EEG only returns the data in the form of electronic signals. So there is one that DLL type library required to convert this data into the digital format.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So the next question is, what are the most disturbing ethical aspects of neuromarketing?
That is again, I told you that that depends upon your consumers. If they are ready, then I don't think any disturbing issue is there. And if you want to conduct this type of experiments, so again you can check our Indian penal code, because as per my knowledge, these things are can be conducted with the consent of the people. If he or she is ready, then no problem, right? But as he told that as that question was regarding with that disturbing, so there is one method, that is PET. So in PET, radio substances are used, right? So if we conduct this type of experiment more and more on particular consumer, so it may cause health issues. So that you have to remember while conducting the experiment. Yeah.
Okay, so
Shurbi Srivastava, who wants to ask something.
yes, Ms. Surbi, you can ask your question.
Yes, you can ask the question. Yes,
Yeah.
audible.
Yes, Ms. Surbi, we can hear you. You can ask your
Can
question.
we use it like neuromorphology?
Sorry, ma'am. Can you please repeat? Is
So we can we use it like neuromorphology?
Neural
I-
methodology something.
neuromethodology?
No, sir, neuromorphology.
Morphology.
Neuromorphology. Yeah, that is different from this one. Neuromorphology is somewhat different from this one. That's not a part of this one.
Hello.
So the next question is, what practical applications of neuromarketing research have you used or have you studied in the field of retailing?
In the field of retailing means they are talking about particular industry like
I think so, sir. I think so.
or retailing is generally for local stores. That I want to ask. Generally, see, these are for the promotion purposes. So if that retailer or particular product, so yeah, he can conduct or she can conduct the experiment. As far as my concern, I haven't used it. I have just tested for study purposes. What I have done so far is during my PhD work that right now going on. So during that review, what I was doing, I was testing that advertisement and promotions by applying the eye tracking method. And thus way I was trying to analyze that which portion of that particular leaflet or particular banner was watched by particular volunteer, and what is the, and I was trying to decode why that particular portion was seen by particular consumer. So that type of work was done by me.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. I think we are done with Q&A session.
Hello.
But I just, yes, Vaibhav, sir, go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am. I have received a few questions from the participant.
Yes.
The first question is from Dr. Umesh, sir. What is this application for in a mass marketing?
Mass marketing.
Yes, sir.
Then, but here the person who is a part of that experiment, he or she have to remain present here. Then only you can conduct experiment. Yeah, for mass marketing, what you can do, you can go for that method like eye tracking, right? What you can do, you can show your promotion with the help of website to that particular consumer, and when that particular consumer is watching your advertisement at that time, that camera can capture the movement of the eyes, and thus way you can address the masses. Apart from that, what you can do, suppose if you have gathered that set of people or the set of consumers in particular place, so you can mount the web cameras somewhere, and web cameras will measure their that facial coding, and thus way they can give you the input whether your that particular advertisement or banner is watched or not, what type of areas was capturing, etc. Suppose if we are going on the road and some banner is there, right? So at that time, if we have mounted the cameras on under the banner or above the banner, so that cameras can keep the track of the movement of the person, and thus way we can determine how much consumers or how much people were engaged by our banner or our that particular hoardings. So this type of thing can be done for addressing mass group of people.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful answer. Now, Mr. Sravan, you can ask your question now. Yes, go ahead,
Okay.
please.
So my question was, you have already told that to increase accuracy, we should perform more experiments to it. So it has some experiences which will harmful for our human body. So do you think these techniques can be used in our countries? Is it will be legal if any consumers are willing for do it?
Yes, what we can say that that's not a consumer, but volunteers are ready for it. And some techniques are not, so much dangerous. Like eye tracking is not dangerous, or the facial coding is not a dangerous. So you can apply this technique also. Only some techniques are required special lab setup, or some techniques require uses this type of dangerous material. Otherwise, different other remaining techniques are, that is not dangerous to the people. So you can use those techniques.
Okay, sir. So one more question, please.
Yes.
One more question. If you have to use facial expression code system, does we have to use that type of particular cameras, or every cameras have the same sensors?
No. If you are using high definition camera, then it will give you more accurate results. And if you use low density of camera or low level cameras, though at that time that movement or the facial expression cannot be captured properly. So while you are using facial coding method, you should use high definition camera, generally in the terms of megapixels or more than it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for asking this question. Yes, Miss or Mr. I don't know right now, but yes, Kanishkan.
Hello, Professor Mehta. Thank you very much for this wonderful seminar. I have a question regarding, basically you mentioned we use volunteers in order to collect these data. So when we apply these information to the population of the consumers, we will face some bias. So I was curious, how can we address these bias, or how are companies currently addressing these bias in marketing, neuromarketing?
Sir, when we apply this type of experiments, at that time, the set of people what we have selected, so they do not aware about what type of things they are going to see or they are going to watch. Generally, we involve them that, yeah, this type of technique that we will apply on you for the promotion purposes. Now, suppose if you are using facial coding method, right? So you can make them aware that we will capture your faces through the camera, and when particular promotion or advertisement is visible to them, so what they will do, their reaction will come automatically. So in very few cases it was biased, like but again, if you show them, right, and they are not aware about that particular advertisement, then definitely you will get the correct results, because you cannot hide certain emotions, you cannot hide certain arousals that will come automatically. If you use one method, so it may happen that somebody can create the bias, but when you apply more than one methods together, then it's very much difficult to create biasness, what I feel.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for asking this question. Now, I think so, sir, we are done with Q&A, and the last question for this session is, what do you suggest for acquiring some of neuromarketing skills, and anywhere we can learn some practical aspects?
Yes, ma'am. If you want to start your career in the field of neuromarketing, so what you have to do, you have to you require some little bit knowledge about that advertising and promotion, and generally that is available with everyone, because they are watching, they are viewing this type of advertisement on the televisions or on the hoardings, etc. Apart from that, if he or she wants to learn, so for that, let me just check it. Probably we have conducted one seminar on probably, let me check the date exactly, what is it. So he or she can participate, where we can make him aware about how to use a particular method on particular promotion. So 1 minute, let me check it. Where is it?
Also, Professor Dhaval.
Yes, sir.
Professor Dhaval.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, would you like to talk also about the Navaratna University Neuromarketing Lab?
Yes, sir. Definitely. Should I, sir, show that particular?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah,
I was just trying to.
I was just searching it.
No, because the question is about practical exposure.
Yes, and
we have set up a neuromarketing lab, which Professor Dhaval will talk about.
And I'm sure this will going to help them a lot.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Because 1 minute, I'm just showing that particular leaflet, what we are planning on it. Yes, my screen is visible.
Not now, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Now
sir.
is it?
Now we can
It's
see
loading,
your
sir.
screen.
Yeah.
Visible, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we conduct one webinar, what we consider a training session on neuromarketing and consumer neuroscience. The date is 26 June. And this is the session where any new one who is totally unaware about this field, he or she can get the knowledge about this, as well as Nilay sir mentioned that with the support of Neuroscience University and under the guidance of Nilay sir, we have set up the Neuromarketing lab at our campus. We are using the solution of Entropic, that is the one well-known company in India. So we have taken the licensed version of that particular company of brainwave mapping and eye tracking. So anyone wish to attend this webinar, right, he or she can attend it. Here are the details available. So then he or she will get more idea about it. What is neuromarketing and consumer neuroscience? Because right now only I could cover only the theoretical aspects. But again, if he or she wants to perform the practicals with the help of this type of tools, so he or she can attend this webinar. The contact details are given there. And if they are interested, then we can send the link for the registration.
Okay, thank you, Dhaval sir, for sharing this information with you, and probably we will share this information with you all in some time. So moving further, it is my great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped in making today's webinar a resounding success. So I would like to express my gratitude to our speaker, Professor Dhaval Mehta, for sharing his experience and expertise in neuromarketing. I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to our provost, Dr. Nilay Yajnik, for his presence and continuous motivation for this seminar. Moving further, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Professor Michael for his valuable presence in this seminar. I would also like to thank Dr. Amrish Bhattgujjar for his continuous support and guidance. I would like to thank Dr. Dinesh Panchal and Mr. Vaibhav Gandhi and our management for all kinds of support for organizing the joint seminar series. As Melissa Bolton rightly said, neuromarketing is not manipulation. It's a mindful merchandise. With this thought, I sincerely congratulate to all the participants. Now I would like to invite Dr. Amrish Bhattgujjar, Head, School of Engineering and Technology, Navrashna University, for concluding remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Kriti. And it was a wonderful talk by Professor Dhaval Mehta on Introduction to Neuromarketing. And I must congratulate him for the very successful seminar. More than 450 registration we have got for this particular seminar. And I'm thankful to Provost Dr. Nilay Yagnik and Dr. Sri Hari for their continuous support. Professor Michael Testani, Professor Kriti, Professor Vaibhav for just spreading awareness and bringing so many participants to the workshop. And now with this, I just want to highlight one important thing, that our next webinar seminar in this series of Navratna Binghamton University seminar series is scheduled on 25th June, and the title of the topic is Additive Manufacturing for Medical Application. It is state-of-art technology related to 3D printing and kind of things, and how this technique is useful in medical application. Dr. G.R. Dang from Binghamton University is a speaker for this session, and it is scheduled on 25th June. So I look forward to the presence of all the participants, and it is on the same time, that is, the session will start at 6 p.m. on Friday. So see you all on that particular session. Thank you once again. Thank all participants.
Thank you so much, sir. So we will connect in the future as well in the webinars in this series.
Dr. Nilay Yagnik, would you like to have some remarks? And Professor Michael Testani?
I wish to thank Professor Michael Testani. Thank you so much for joining us today, and do convey our regards to Dean Srihari as well and all your colleagues. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. We will connect in future too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
See you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Have a nice day, sir.
Same to you, ma'am. Same to all of you. Have a nice day. Yes, 35, 40 people live. Dinesh sir? Hello, Dinesh sir?
Yes, I'm listening. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll
You can close
leave
now.
this meeting, sir.
Sir, I have stopped the recording from my side.
Yes, it's stopped now, ma'am, because we are the co